Ja.
Ja.
We work with our clients and we work with people, and Sanet's on the other side and also on the same side. They bond originators. She's been in the industry for many years, and from a law degree to a bond originator, that's a story she can tell us. But she is also a graduate in law, doing bonds. Most of us, many of us have done our bonds through her as well. Very confident, and the service is always excellent. And but also a client of ours, and she refers business to us. So I've asked her to just give us a perspective of her environment, and apart from dealing with us as a client, we also serve some clients, which is agents, on the other side, from a conveyancing point of view and also from the origination point of view. So thanks for joining us, and thanks for the
Tell you more about where Painters Bonds come from, and how it all started. And I think it's actually a remarkable story. Sometimes when life throws you lemons, you need to make lemonade. So studied law, got a BProc degree, ended up doing road accident fund claims for a while, realized that's very boring, unless you're probably on the other side, but I was actually working for the road accident fund at that stage. And completely diverted into sales, and there I actually got to deal with where it became a medical rep, and started working with high specialists, ENTs, pediatricians, mostly specialists in the northern suburbs. And I think that learned me a lot about dealing with difficult clients, difficult customers, because they tend to think they are smarter than you, and you need to always show up and pretend that you're on the same level, and fake it until you make it. So you learn a lot through different things that come your way. And initially, when I started bonds, I thought it was going to be a half-day job, and you soon realize that if you're going to do something properly, there's no such thing as a half-day job. So if somebody phones me at 3 o'clock, I can't say, no, I'm busy with my kids now. And also I think the personality that I am, I'm a pleaser, so you kind of just start doing whenever people need you start helping. And that's probably my weakest and my strongest strength, because that has helped me to actually bring Painters Bonds where it is, because we are so service driven. So Painters Bonds is a small bond origination company, and I'm sure you're all familiar with what a bond originator does. Basically, we make contact with the client. Very important, the first interview with the client, to understand what documentation we're going to need to compile. And people ask me, why don't you put a standard list of documents on your website, or you send it? But each application is different. Clients' financials, that information is complex. Most South Africans have to have a second sign-on job to make a living, and to actually bring everything together. It's important for you as a bond originator to know how to prove that income and how to put it together to make the deal work. So we've had cases where a client was declined either by the bank directly, or they meet another bond originator. And when they get to us, you realize that there's additional income that you can actually draw up income statements for, or you can, to prove it. And this is, knowledge that you only gain by experience once you go through all the challenges of having declines and having to fight them back, and knowing what the banks are looking for. So that's basically what our job is, to get all the paperwork together and to present the application to the bank the best possible way to ensure a positive outcome. So when I started in 2011, when Bond Choice, who I was working for at that stage, closed down, it was quite a challenging time, because you must keep in mind that at that stage we had just gone through a major turning point in the property industry. The National Credit Act was just implemented. Recession was at its highest probably, and I mean, where I was doing 30-40 million rands of bonds a month, it dropped to 5 million. It was like really rock bottom. It was tough. Many originators left the industry. Many estate agents left the industry. It was really a tough time. And when Bond Choice closed down then, I was, offered positions with all the major players in the market. And to be honest, my dad was the one that said to me, just do your own thing and push forward. And if you need me, I'll back you. And by the grace of God, he helped me with a printer. Other than that, I've never asked him for help. So what I soon realized was that everybody out there, especially estate agents who at that time was especially desperate for kickbacks, 500 rand here, 1,000 rand there, commission here, I wasn't in a position to offer that. Most of my agents were saying, just give us service. We want our bond commission. We want our commission on the deal. We don't mind about kickbacks on the bonds. It's important for us to get our 5, 6, or 7 or 8% commission on the deal and to make sure we get results. And that's when I realized that the only competitive edge I'll have in the market to make it work, because many of the opinion leaders out in the industry said I wouldn't make it. They said, you don't have a brand, you're nobody, you won't make it in the industry. So the only competitive edge was service. So I had to work bloody hard. So for the first 6 months I was on my own, and I soon realized that if I want to deliver constant, continuous service, I need people. Hence my team, who I can't do this without. And you need people that is like-minded and that shares the same vision as you, to not just, because what is service at the end of the day? Is it to deliver what is expected of you? Can you tick, yeah, I've done my job for the day? Yes, that's part of it. Is it to do it quickly and get quick results? Yes, that is also part of it. But service is, in my opinion, especially since I did not have a brand, I did not have funds for kickback commissions, and I made an ethical decision that that's not the route I want to go. And I also didn't have any money for marketing use at that stage. So in my opinion, service is about making every customer feel like they're your only customer. And to do that consistently every day for every child, no matter how busy you are. And I think that is something something about service, irrespective of whether it's a 200,000 rand deal or a 2 million rand deal or a 20 million rand deal. Each customer or each client that you deal with, for that client, it's a major thing. Because clients buy property maybe once or twice in their lifetime. Investors probably at a different level. But that's a completely different client that you deal with at the end of the day. And I was in an industry where service had actually been, people have become blasé about service. Every day we are wowed about how clients are just in awe and put comments on our Facebook page and comments on the website about basic things like constant communication. I knew every minute what was going on. Giving me a call at 7 o'clock at night when I saw the approval came in, I know they're anxious about getting their feedback. Involving the clients in the arbitration process and in telling them what we are doing. And I think that's one of the things that clients often comment on, is that they feel involved, they feel part of the process, and they're not just waiting for results. And when a client feels part of the process, they feel empowered. They feel part of the process, and they can actually relate with you. And I'm not saying we must sell them everything, but they must be aware that we are busy with X, Y, and Z, so that they've got trust in us to make sure that they don't want to keep on following up, because they should not need to follow up. We strive to give daily follow-ups of messages, even if it's to say, just to let you know, although we were hoping for feedback today, there was no further feedback. We'll be in touch tomorrow. So I think communication was one of the big things that's been carrying us through. And I'm proud to say this year it's 9 years, and I'm still standing. By the grace of God and a fantastic team and support from our family, we are, I think, become reckoned with and respected in the industry. We're not big, we're small, and I don't want to be big. I think when you lose control of the size and you don't know that you're still giving each client the attention they deserve, you actually lose track of where you're going with your business. Because what is your vision? Is it to constantly offer that excellent service, or is it to grow it out of proportions that you don't have control anymore? So, I made a few notes here. Over the years, we've built up a reputation to deal with especially high-profile clients and very complicated financial scenarios. So we deal with trusts, within companies, within trusts. Yesterday, we were sitting in on a boardroom meeting 2 hours just to try and get all the paperwork together, because there's 4 companies involved in a trust within a company, and only to realize that the trustee had passed away 2 weeks ago. After we had got all the financials together now. So yeah, I think we deal with quite complex scenarios, and by the time a client like that leaves us after getting the bond approved, they're so relieved. Thank God I've got this bond approved, because they had to now give their whole pedigree right through from resolutions, letter of authorities. It is complicated paperwork for them to get together, and the self-employed is normally restricted to time, so it's challenging for them. And then only to find that when they get to the bond attorney, there's a whole lot more documents that they need together. And I think that's where I think it's important for us to actually start taking hands and to understand where the client is at that point, and to understand that they're actually now a chatzol, and they're not list to now send on a whole lot more documents, although you on your side you can't do it without the documents. And so on our side, and that's I think the purpose of this meeting, is to see how we can take hands to make the move over from the client on our side over into your space as smooth as possible, so that the client can walk away from the whole transaction with a wow factor and not just stop on our side. Because sometimes we find that once we've got the bond approved, they've had daily feedbacks, daily communication, SMSs, WhatsApps, emails, and then they get to the, and I'm not referring to you guys specifically, but they get into the bond registration space, and it's quiet, and they don't know what's going on. They don't maybe get once a week they get an update email, but many clients don't understand the process. Many don't even know why there's going to be a transferring attorney and a bond attorney. And I think we need to go back to basics, and that's what we are trying to do on our side, that when we do the closure call with the client or sit in front of the client to discuss closing the deal, to actually sit with that client and to explain to him what you expect going forward. But sometimes you explain a whole lot of things you don't remember.
Okay, so our process, roughly, like in a nutshell, is the instruction is allocated to us, and we allocate it to a designated paralegal in the office to open the file, contact the client. Now that must happen within 24 hours, because that's bank rules as well. So we do have a list of our initial call to a client, what we set out for them, what's important in our instruction, what to look out for, and we also send them an initial letter. In that initial letter, we aim to ask everything once, because there's nothing that annoys a client more than oh and this. So we designed structured letters that we use with all the possibilities, that we can just edit it and make sure we ask for life cover from the start, advise them if there's something strange like an NHBRC, and also to talk it through to clients. Then mostly we are prohibited from really identifying all the problems in our instruction if we don't get the draft deed. So we aim to get the transferring attorney details as soon as possible, that we can put pressure on them to get the draft deed. So the thing with amendments as well is banks like Standard Bank has a rule that they actually want amendments within 10 days. Then they'll give you 10 days extra on your turnaround times. If it's asked later than that, then they say, sorry, you had the chance.
Sorry to interrupt you. We, on our side, turnaround time is 5 days.
Oh, okay.
So if we had to request an amendment from our side up front, and you realise that there was a problem with the proper description, we might get the instruction quicker.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So then our internal process that we work further is when we have the draft deed and guarantee requirements and the FICA from the client, which we normally aim to do within 2 weeks max. Then we prepare the documents for signature. But before we sign with the client, we print our conventional instruction that we have, and we found a big instruction document on Ghost as well that sets out everything under the sun that is actually on the bank side of the system, because we've picked up in the past that the instruction they give us and the instruction they have on their sites are not always the same thing, and there's where errors come in when we want a proceed and they tell us, listen, our systems reflect this. So we do data sheets just that someone else, myself or the candidate attorney, sign off, and we verify the information that we see as our normal pitfalls with regards to where errors slip in on the capturing side, or from, like you said, the bank instruction that pulls through funny. This is especially where we see property description mistakes and physical property address mistakes. So once we've checked all that and we are happy that our instruction corresponds with the FICA we have and the drafting and guarantee requirement, then we print our documents, arrange for signature, prepare a compliance pack, which we also identify as one of the pitfalls that makes a transaction go faster. So we have a 4-step check system for all our compliance packs before we send them to the bank, to hopefully eliminate errors, eliminate any delays in the matter.